All right, let's just jump right in. For years, the dream for AI has been pretty straightforward. Build a bigger, better, more perfect memory. But what if I told you we've been chasing the wrong thing all along? Today, we're going to explore a pretty wild idea that the secret to making AI truly smart isn't about remembering more. It's about mastering the art of forgetting.
So I want you to just let this question sink in for a minute. What if the one thing we assumed was AI's ultimate superpower, its flawless, total recall, is actually its greatest flaw? What if that's the very thing holding it back?
To get why that might be true, we first have to talk about this core belief, really, that has been running the show in the tech world for decades now. You've heard this 1,000 times, right? It's been the gospel of the big data era. It's simple, it makes sense, and it's basically the foundation for all of modern AI. The assumption has always been that more information is just better, period.
And this obsession, it actually has a name: hyperamnesia. It's this quest for a perfect, infinite memory. And when you think about it, we've designed all our digital systems to be masters of it. They're built to be digital hoarders, to grab every single piece of data and never, ever let it go.
But here's where it gets really weird. This chase for perfect memory has led to a huge irony. It turns out that a system that remembers absolutely everything can, in a very real way, become incredibly, well, stupid. Let's break that down. So, what is the actual result when an AI doesn't just learn from data, but it literally memorizes every last useless detail? What does that kind of intelligence even look like when you put it to the test in the real world? Well, it leads to a problem that data scientists have a great name for: overfitting. The easiest way to think about it is like a student who crams for a test by just memorizing the exact answers on the practice sheet. They'll get a perfect score on that sheet, no doubt. But the second you give them a new problem that's even slightly different, they completely fall apart. That's overfitting. The AI has memorized the noise, not the music. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Real learning, generalization, is flexible. It's about understanding the principle behind the data. Overfitting, though, is just memorization. It's rigid, it's brittle, and it only knows the exact examples it's already seen. One is actual intelligence. The other is just a very fancy parrot. So if perfect memory is a trap, where do we look for a better way? This is where the story gets really cool. The answer isn't in a faster chip or a bigger server. It's inside our own heads. You know, we all get frustrated when we forget things, where we put our keys, someone's name. We think of it as a bug in our own software. But what if that's totally wrong? The latest neuroscience is showing us that our brains aren't powerful in spite of being forgetful. They're powerful because of it. See, learning in our brains isn't just about downloading information. It's an active process. We take stuff in, we organize it, and then, and this is the absolute key, the brain gets to work actively pruning and forgetting all the junk, all the irrelevant details. Forgetting isn't a passive failure. It's an active feature that makes us smarter. And this quote just nails it. Think about it. By forgetting the specific details of every single leaf on every tree you've ever seen, your brain learns the general idea of tree. Forgetting is the biological tool that lets us generalize, that lets us think abstractly. It's how we see the forest for the trees, literally. So, as you can imagine, this insight is sparking a revolution in how we think about building AI. If the human brain's secret weapon is forgetting, well, can we teach our machines to do the same thing? This one sentence basically captures this massive shift that's starting to happen. The entire playbook is being flipped upside down. The next big thing in AI isn't about having a bigger memory. It's about having a smarter way to lose information. And this is already leading to some incredible new technology, sometimes called selective amnesia algorithms. And just like the name says, they're built to mimic the brain. Their entire purpose isn't to just collect data, but to strategically throw it away, to prune the irrelevant stuff. And doing that forces the AI to stop just memorizing details and start looking for the real patterns underneath. This table really sums it all up, doesn't it? The old way, the hypermneseek AI, was inspired by a database. The goal was to store everything, which just made it rigid. But this new model, amnesic AI, is inspired by us, by our brains. The goal is to generalize by selecting and forgetting, which creates something that's truly adaptable. So what does this all really mean for the future?
Well, this isn't just some small technical change. This is a fundamental shift in how we think about what intelligence even is.
And honestly, that's the big idea here. For so long, we've measured how smart something is, a person, a machine, by how much it can remember. But maybe the real measure of intelligence isn't about how much you can hold on to. Maybe it's about the wisdom to know what to let go of, what's just noise, and keeping only what really matters. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. As we start building these new kinds of machines, ones that can forget, that can prune, that can prioritize, what kind of intelligence are we actually creating? Maybe it's an AI that's less like a perfect, cold database and a little more like a wise mind. An AI that's not just more capable, but maybe more understandable. So what do you think we'll gain by building a technology that truly knows how to lose?